Good morning. Probably can't see me and it's starting to get loud, but I am in Luxor waiting for my hot air balloon ride. You can hear everything starting up now. It's very loud. I guess we'll be in the air within a couple of minutes. Looks like we have the all clear to go.
A new place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky.
We're going down.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way.
These are our guys. These are our guys. Fuck. Oh, they got us. They got us. Oh, easy. Easy. Oh, we're going back. Smooth landing.
في حتة هي صفرة قدام لا تاخذها فيها لا تاخذها هنا.
It's like one.
It's up to you.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Hard landing, my friend. بلندق بامتح.
Hot air balloon ride. Done. Amazing. Got about 47 minutes, 45 minutes up there. Straight over the Nile. Straight over the top of Luxor Temple. You can see Karnak. It's beautiful. Best sunrise I've ever had. Best birthday present maybe I've even ever had. So thank you all. Alrighty. After a pretty early morning, I've got myself out into Luxor town to go to Luxor Temple, which I will say is actually pretty rare that you get the temples in the town. Quite often you have to drive like an hour or even up to 3 hours. peak heat. It's 130, 140 entry. So what I'm thinking is that'll actually make it very quiet for me. Alrighty, we are in what is a very quiet Luxor Temple. I met with a massive obelisk. I'd read that there used to be two. Yeah, exactly. There used to be two. I guess one was there. And the other one's now in Paris, which is quite lucky. But yeah, 3,400 year old temple this, which is very impressive. I know it was originally built, like the back end was built by Amenhotep, and then of course Ramses II got involved, as he does, and built on, I guess what you'd say is the more grand, impressive stuff here at the front that you kind of met with. And even like Alexander the Great was claimed to have been crowned king here. So it's a very historic site. It was actually buried in rubble for, like, I don't even know how long. I know in the 1800s, like 1880 or something, they excavated it. It was like a 15-meter high hill. I guess like an artificial hill, just of like rubble. And I guess they just had lost, I guess as the religions changed around here, they lost appreciation for this ancient worshipping of gods probably people had no idea about. So I guess it just got filled up with a bunch of shit. And yeah, it was kind of lost until 1880 when it was excavated, and this massive site was rediscovered and reappreciated, I guess. Yeah, it's a very fascinating place. Let's go check it out. Good old Ramses II is at it again with his antics. I was just reading there on one of the signs that when Ramses II came into charge, he like added to it, and he made it more grand and more grand at the front. Added statues, of course, of himself, and granite statues of himself there. But went one step further and erased Amenhotep's name from all the work he had commissioned, and put his own name on them to really try to claim everything that Amenhotep had done. And that's not the first time I've read that Ramses II did that. He's quite notorious for ripping off other people's work and getting his own name on stuff, which is fascinating that was going on back then. I mean, it kind of is now, I guess. People still do that, so yeah. Different level, I guess, when you're ripping off another pharaoh, trying to erase his own history. It's very impressive. This, and it opens up into this big courtyard. All right, what we have here is the processional way. Like a lot of the temples have, you know, particular avenues or ways that connect one side or one temple to another. So too does Luxor, all the way to Karnak and Amun-Ra temple, and there's a bunch of temples down this side. Like, it feels like when you're in Luxor temple that it's like huge, and then I was just looking on a map there, like Karnak and all that site down here is like it's like 4 or 5 times as big. So I guess that's why they call this the world's biggest or largest outdoor museum. But anyway, 2.6 kilometers long this processional way is, which is going to take me a while, especially in this heat. But yeah, it's kind of lined with all of these Sphinx. Some are just rams. Some are half ram, half lioness. But yeah, it's nice to kind of take the traditional route between the two. I think most people probably the smart decision, to be fair, take a taxi between, but we're doing it. It's crazy, this whole thing was found or excavated only like 1950, so you know, a good 70 years after the whole Luxor thing was excavated, they kind of stumbled across this. So yeah, it stayed hidden for a while. But anyway, we continue our walk to Karnak.
2,000 years later.
So I've made it to Karnak. It was quite the walk, not gonna lie. I can understand why people don't do it, but yeah, it was nice. There's a few rest stops along the way, which are nice. But I've made it to Karnak, and it's very quiet here as well, which is nice. Good view from here, actually. You can see the two big obelisks pointing. What is the plural for obelisk? I'm gonna go obelisks, but it sounds wrong. Anyway, massive granite obelisk there. You can just imagine how big the unfinished obelisk at Aswan would have been. That one is huge. There's a lot I'm excited to check out here at Karnak, actually. I mean, it's an extremely old, an extremely religious site. The biggest 200 acres it was in its prime. Obviously different periods have added to it, but there's also a wall somewhere I would like to find that not that I can read it, but it goes through the different names and the different time periods that restorations were done, which kind of shows you how old it was. And you know, that's like the old, like further along dynasties, but also the Middle Kingdom and apparently even the Old Kingdom. So I don't know, who knows, maybe it's even that. It's an interesting like checklist. But yes, I mean, that dates it back thousands of years, 3,500, 4,000 years, potentially even longer or older. Yeah, so yeah, really, really significant site in ancient Egyptian times. And there is like some crazy like granite. Like, look at this doorway, wild doorway. So I ended up spending 4 hours at Karnak, and it was a stinking hot day. You could easily spend a few more hours getting about there. There was one last thing I wanted to see before I wrapped up my day, and that was this famous statue of Sekhmet. It's incredibly hard to find. You got to wander about everywhere and ask a bunch of people, and someone will eventually take you there. You got to give them a little bit of money. But this statue of Sekhmet is apparently cursed, which is why I wanted to go there. Now, Sekhmet is the creation of the sun god Ra. Sekhmet is the goddess of war, and Ra created her to punish humans who disobeyed him. Now, this statue in particular is of interest because a lot of people who visit there say they can feel like an energy and a presence in this room, and a lot of creepy things seem to happen. Wow. And the locals believe that anyone who like worships Sekhmet or was in the presence of this Sekhmet statue, bad things used to happen to them. So it's kind of created this bit of mystique around the statue of Sekhmet at Karnak. I wanted to check that out for myself. Now, what I can say is the room itself that Sekhmet is in, it's creepy. So obviously, like, it starts your relationship off with the statue in a creepy way. It's cold, it's dark, it's hidden, and you got to pay a bunch of people to get in there. So, like, I hate to burst the TikTok, YouTube conspiracy bubble, but I don't believe there's anything really actually that weird around the statue. It's beautiful, it's elegant, and there is something creepy about it. just because it's so like, I don't know, thin and tall and still like it is kind of scary, the statue. But there's nothing wrong with it. I definitely recommend going. It's a very dark room. It's hard to kind of get a good shot of it. The only thing I will say that was a little bit hard to explain would be that when I took a photo with the flash and then one without the flash, the one without the flash kind of turned up better. Now, I don't know if that's to do with the granite, like the stone itself, and there's like little white speckles in there. Maybe like it helps illuminate it. But yeah, like the technology thing, like everything worked fine. But yeah, definitely go and check it out. You got to ask a bunch of people. You got to be fairly patient and have a bit of endurance about you wandering around the whole site. But definitely go check Sekhmet out. It's a beautiful statue alone. I just don't believe it's so cursed or spiritual, let's say.
All right. You basically bribe your way into seeing anything in Egypt. Spirit, yes, very good. They have for you 100. They all want a piece of the pie. So that was Sekhmet, which was quite a hard find. You got to walk like really north outside of the main part of Karnak, northeast, top right hand corner basically, and you got to basically just walk through a whole lot of what is like rubble and construction, and then there's this tiny little temple just in the middle of all that that's locked away behind a couple of doors. Sekhmet, the statue of Sekhmet, which is quite a mystery and a lot of like angst about her from the locals. Sekhmet's the creation of the sun god, I think Ra. The sun god lost his eye when he looked down on earth, and Sekhmet was the creation from that. It was created to punish humans who disobeyed Ra. She's kind of like the goddess of war. But yeah, there's quite a lot of like mystery and worry around her, and apparently like black cats get seen walking around there, and I've kind of wanted to see it, which I'm pretty happy with. That was like the main thing I wanted to see at Karnak, along with a few other things here but I've not been able to track down. Like there's a big gate that is apparently like a stargate. It has a glyphs that read that it's a stargate. The tour buses have arrived, and that's my cue to go. Been a fair few hours here now, so I'm gonna head back to the hotel, freshen up, have a swim, freshen up, and then pack my bag. I have my night train back to Cairo, where I have one more day before I fly off to a new country to meet an old friend.